Welcome to a new video of Gods Unchained. The game is in a stage of great changes. The introduction of daily play to earn, coupled with the amount of balances expected in the meta, makes it a perfect time to buy different cards that can be revalued or increase their utility in the game. In this video, I am going to explain my market strategy in the face of these changes and the purchases I am going to make. This strategy has allowed me to progress in the game and reach a collection of $675 in cards with hardly any money. I started playing Gods Unchained almost a year ago, when the Divine Order set was released. In addition to the fact that I have hardly put any money into my account, I have a small number of cards from previous sets, which I have been able to buy little by little. As you can see, I don't have cards of much value, and yet I have managed to climb Mythic and stay stable in the rank to get packs every weekend. I follow a strategy that allows me to buy more cards. We are going to see some of the ways to make profit and increase your collection, from the smallest to the largest investment required. The team has already said numerous times that I have a series of balances planned to completely change the meta of the game. Changes can only be made to core cards and the current Mortal Judgment set. Because of that, my plan is to buy currently unused cards from the Mortal Judgment set. It's a great opportunity to increase your collection with 2 cards of each one that you don't own, that are at a minimum price and are out of the meta for different reasons. In the first place, they are at such a low price that they are hardly going to go any lower, and as can be seen with the rest of the block sets, the floor price of the sets is quite higher once more cards are not created and the amount of players continue to increase. On the other hand, these cards are the most likely target for buffs in the future balancing patches, to make them more useful and be played more, which will mean a revaluation in terms of price. Also, they could gain a revaluation in price because they are used in an archetype that is back in the meta and right now is not. Special emphasis in the cards that belong to archetypes that have been out of the meta for a long time, and the Gods Unchained team itself has said that they want to make more powerful, such as war creatures, order or another domain archetype from Deception, control nature, zombie death, chosen one light or heal light. The worst possible scenario is that they are not buffed and slightly increase in value over time, in addition to the possible synergies that they may have with future cards. The new reward system has also been announced. God's token will no longer be won through weekend ranked, but with your games day by day. These rewards will be influenced firstly by your rank, and secondly by the quality of your cards. Quality was a concept that until now had no more use than having a certain exclusivity, but that's going to change. That is why I have been in recent weekends buying some cards with a higher quality. I highly recommend buying some cards from the god you use the most, especially those that work in any archetype and are always a constant in any deck of this god. Secondly, if you can't afford to buy higher quality cards, I do recommend that you take the opportunity to forge the repeated playing cards that you have, since there will be a big difference in the playing to earn rewards from having your wall deck in Meteorite or higher than having playing cards. Cards from sets like Genesis or Trial of the Gods have a much lower supply than new sets, as there were far fewer players in the game buying packs or earning rewards at that time. If you trust the project in the future, and as the number of players increase, these cards will increase their value exponentially. To give you an example, we can see how common cards or rare cards have a supply of 1000 for the recent sets, while in Genesis the supply is much less. As long as those cards continue to have an utility, they will become more and more demanded. Even if the number of players increases a lot, the same reduced number of cards will continue to exist. Trinkets and boards are collectibles that were issued in the origins of the game, and you rarely see a player who doesn't have the default board. They haven't released new ones, and it's because they haven't been migrated to the immutable network yet. Currently, they can be purchased at OpenSea on the Ethereum network with high trading fees and whose existence is unknown to many players. The number of these is very small, and they do not help to win games, but it's a very precious collectible that only a true OG possesses. The team has already added to its roadmap the migration of these collectibles to the immutable network, and that they can be sold in its secondary market without fees. New trinkets and boards are also expected to be released in the near future. Currently, they have a relatively low price, but in a scenario where the number of players continue to grow, professional competition survive, and the game is extended, these limited collectibles will increase their value enormously. We can find trinkets and boards in the market starting from $15. Thank you for watching till the end. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing and giving a like.